This is a Scorch build entitled The Lingering Embers. You will need a gun with incandescent on it, the exotic helmet Dawn Chorus, and to be on the subclass Daybreak. The super does not matter that much, it really just depends on what you want to use. So first I'm just going to quickly explain the effect that we're going to be utilizing here. So we're going to be using Scorch. Now Scorch was recently, I'd say recently, but sort of recently given to solar subclasses in Season 17. Now it used to just be Burn, but now it's called Scorch, and it does different amounts of damage depending on the amount of Scorch that a target has. Now, if you get up to 100 stacks, the target will actually ignite, doing extra damage. Basic understanding of how Scorch works, we'll be using guns with a perk called Incandescent. Incandescent spreads Scorch to enemies that are around the target that you just defeated. Incandescent can come on a variety of weapons, but I would recommend using guns that use kinetic ammo so you can constantly have it available. The guns that I would recommend would be Might Multitool, Drang, Staccato, and the Battler. All of these are really good options, but I personally use the Battler because of a mod that I'm going to explain later on. So, on my Battler, I use Heating Up and Incandescent, but I think Pluggist might work better than Heating Up because we're going to be using our melee a pretty good amount for this build. And the Battler is also craftable, so it can get Enhanced Incandescent and Enhanced Pluggist. The other damage that we'll be doing is with our abilities. We will be using our melee mainly, but I do use my nade a decent amount. So I use the Incinerator Snap for my melee, and the snap will make a fan of projectiles that can scorch targets. Now with this Scorch, we're going to be using the Dawn Chorus to increase its damage. The base Scorch does 512 damage per tick, but with Dawn Chorus, it gets bumped up to 1536. Now this is the same amount of Scorch, we're not increasing the amount, but we're tripling the damage. This works on Incandescent and our Snap and anything else that can apply Scorch. Now the Dawn Chorus also gives us some melee energy when we Scorch targets. This means that whenever we Scorch targets and kill them with our melee, we can get some of our melee energy back, letting us use it again quicker. So the aspects we'll be using here will actually play pretty well into this self-regenerating melee idea. So we're going to be using the Touch of Flame and Heat Rises. So, Touch of Flame will give us improved grenades, and that's not very important here, but it's just like a little bonus if you want it. But Heat Rises will give you extra melee energy whenever you get a kill whilst in the air. Now you can trade out the Touch of Flame if you don't want to use your nades as much for Icarus Dash. Now what Icarus Dash will do is it will let you get Cure whenever you get a kill in the air. Now that pairs pretty well because we're going to be getting kills in the air for melee energy and for Cure. Now the fragments we will be using are the Ember of Searing for melee energy on Scorch, the Ember of Ashes for more Scorch, Ember of Char for ignitions applying Scorch, and then the Ember of Eruption for larger ignitions. Now if you can tell, a lot of that is like trying to get more Scorch just everywhere that we can, because it's basically just a Scorch build. The final part of this build is the mods. So this will add a little extra pizzazz to your weapon of choice and the melee we're using. So I use Swift Charge as it gives me Charge with Light after getting rapid pulse rifle kills. And this is why I recommend the Battler. Not only is it a craftable primary, but it plays very well with Swift Charge in particular. Now the real reason why I want Swift Charge over the other Charge with Light mods, like the ones for some machine guns and auto rifles, is because it's arc. And our Charge with Light mods have second abilities to them where we have another arc mod on. And this one is it gives you a higher chance to drop a special for your allies. Now this is really good in higher end activities, but you need an arc mod to use it. So I use Radiant Light here. So Radiant Light makes me charge with light whenever I use my super. Now to capitalize on all of this charge with light that we have now, I use High Energy Fire. Now High Energy Fire just gives me more damage for my Battler because it gives you more damage for any element that matches your subclass. I also like melee kickstart here so I can just get my melee back even quicker. Now so I wanted this build to be good in higher end content, and that's why I did not put an exotic in the build. I wanted people to be able to use like Arbalest or Gallowhorn. I was thinking about using like Skyburners or something as extra Scorch, but I didn't want to because that would limit people's options, and like people are addicted to their Arbalest and they're not going to put that down. So I'm trying to make a build around it so you can shape it like however you want. If you want to use your Arbalest, you can still use it. You can have Unstoppable Pulse Rifle for Seasonal Plunder, and then you'll still have your good damage right now for your ad clear, and you'll still have your Arbalest as well. It's like, I really just wanted this build to be like a good like base damage, and then you can mold it however you want after that. But I hope you enjoyed, and maybe you'll find the build to be useful.